Hello and welcome to Aldente Rigamortis. I'm Review Claus.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for Ebenezer.
And I'm the Grinch in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy, most pasta, and most festive. Not really.
This one isn't very festive, though.
But we're going to be critically silly doing it as it is SCP-Cember. So you know what that means. It's a whole month in December where we're doing SCPs.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for years. It's a bit now. Mm-hmm. It's a stable bit. But yeah, and we're going to kick off this holiday month with SCP-198, otherwise known as a Cup of Joe. So last year, anyone out there from our listenership might remember SCP-999, which was a little yellow goopy guy, where I performed a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer mock song about the little yellow guy. And I mentioned in that song, among a bunch of other SCPs that we had done, one SCP we had not done, which is a strange mug. And so I decided that was clearly a foreshadow for what was going to be this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And definitely not me just scrounging or like looking for an SCP that had to do with a cup or something to match the rhyme.
No, never. Why would it be?
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing SCP-198, which is Cup of Joe. It's on scp.wiki.wikinut.com.
Wikinut?
Wiki. Sorry, it's on scp/wiki.wiki.com. I think I meant I'd like accidentally said like .net.
Yeah. Which sounds like .nut to me.
.nut. This isn't Joey Fucknuts.
Yeah.
God, I wish there was more Joey Fucknut stories. I'd read them in a heartbeat. But yeah, so you can check it out at the SCP Wiki or the SCP Foundation website. It's by Kendrick Soulbane. And yeah, before we dive too deep into exactly what the SCP is, let's give our initial recommendations. I'm going to recommend this one.
I am also going to recommend this one.
Even though I said I'm the Grinch in yellow and I should hate everything, I'm going to recommend this one. But that might change. You never know.
I mean, his E stands for Ebenezer. Bah humbug.
Yes, indeed.
Apparently, this is the Ebenezer after he's gone through all the trials.
Mm-hmm.
Bah humbug. I loved it.
I suppose my heart has grown 3 sizes already. That happened last year.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if any of these other SCPs this month shrink your heart down.
Yeah.
If you go to cardiac arrest.
A little bit. We'll find out.
But yeah, so okay, that's interesting. We all recommend it. So let's dive in and find out why. Starting with a rundown of the entry. So SCP-198 is to be secured in a case in a secured room and no one is to touch it, or at least hold it, unless they are testing it. In fact, no beverage container within 100 meters of the SCP are to be present on site and in any adjacent rooms at the site for the safety of the staff. This is because SCP-198 changes its form to be various beverage containers with some liquid still in it, and changes form after killing a handler. It is currently a coffee mug. When inert, it can appear as any kind of beverage container with some level of the attributed liquid in that container. But as soon as somebody picks it up and holds it, becoming the handler, it molecularly bonds to the handler's hand, and in a quite painful fashion, based off of the experience of the SCP Foundation. The liquid inside then changes to a substance that is a variety of human bodily fluid and fills up to the limit of the container. The handler then begins to rapidly dehydrate and emaciate until dead. This occurs in several hours, and no external food, fluid, or IV drip will stop it. Consuming the fluid or semi-solid material that fills the container will hold off this effect, but it must be a constant consumption. The container refills automatically, anomalously. And the handler usually gives up and dies or is terminated by SCP staff after a prolonged time of having to constantly consume the disgusting fluid or semi-solid material that's in the cup. It then debonds from the handler's body and teleports to a flat surface in a new container form, waiting for someone to pick it up.
Well, sometimes, except for that one time when it didn't change form.
Yeah, which is redacted.
Yeah.
Or when it doesn't change the same form, but it moved to a flat surface.
Yes.
But then there was also that other time where it doesn't just teleport to a flat surface; it teleports to redacted.
Yes.
So several staff have needed to be terminated as a result of these breaches in containment. It should also be stated that a robotic grasping armature does not seem affected by the molecular bonding effect of the object. And given its severe lethality to human handlers, as well as its ability to break containment and disguise itself, it has been reassigned to a Euclid classification. Finn. So yeah, that was a rundown of SCP-198, otherwise known as a Cup of Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It is currently a coffee cup. So I suppose we'll move on to everyone tolerates the Grand Inquisitions. At this point, guys, do you guys got anything?
For the first section, I have an it sentence, and then for the experiment log, I have a conjunction junction.
Okay. And now an it sentence with Mikey, he stands for evil. And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It was then that the nature of SCP object revealed itself as the agent mistakenly grabbed what appeared to be an unopened bottle of water from a table at the construction site. Finn.
Okay.
The
way you read that, it sounded like it transformed into an agent. the way you were reading it. Because
there's no commas, so
yeah, that's true.
All right, now for the conjunction junction. But perhaps the contents in your hand. It burned me. It would appear that both of your hands are stuck to the container. Finn.
I'd just like to point out those last two were it stories or were it sentences.
Yeah, but we had a but in there,
Okay.
so it has to be conjunction junction.
I guess you could have just combined the it sentence with the conjunction junction, I feel.
But it's from two separate sections. Like one's the experiment log and one is the main
Has
SCP.
That stopped you before? Has it really?
Yes.
Okay. Either way, I don't know where Mikey grabs these sentences throughout the story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ands, or buts. There's always better words to use.
Yes. All right, and Gamer, do you have any Grammar Inquisition?
No.
Okay.
I had one, but then I realized it's not, and then I deleted it, so now I don't have one.
Nice.
That's my story.
Okay. On to actual plots. I'm going to start with this section here. This is from Special Containment Procedures. SCP-198 is located in a secure room of site redacted with armed guards posted outside to prevent any unauthorized access. SCP-198 is to be stored under 24-hour video surveillance in a sealed and locked case, 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters. And the key kept in a secure location accessible only to those personnel with level 3 clearance and above. Under no circumstances are any Foundation personnel to handle SCP-198. All handling of SCP-198 is to be done via remote robotic means or by D-Class test subjects only. SCP-198 is a coffee mug. So this is like my initial reaction going into this. It's just like it's a coffee mug. And like that's my like opening like opinion until you read more further in, and then you're like, oh god, it's a coffee mug. Like
First, it
but
doesn't
like
say SCP is currently a
a
coffee.
coffee. Yeah. Well, because like when I first like got like found this one, I didn't realize that it changed forms. I only knew that it was a cup or like a coffee mug.
Yes.
So but yeah, the procedure is definitely warranted after you read through the rest of the thing. Also, just like given the security after reading the special containment procedures and then like getting to the coffee cup or like the how it changes form and it's just a coffee cup that right now. I would love to see a video, like somebody do like an indie video or like a short film, just showing all the security measures for the chamber, and then when they finally reveal what's in the chamber. And it just contains like it's just on a table. There's a coffee mug in an encasement.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine this like low rumble and dramatic score as it's panning past all the different protocols and the security agents and the security terminals and stuff like that. And then we get that final shot. It just like cuts away to the a slow zoom in on a mug in a case on a table, and all the music just dies as just for like the perfect like just like the reveal of just this. It's a coffee mug.
Yeah.
It would to me that would show like kind of give me that feeling of like the surreal out of context aspect of the SCP Foundation. Like they're willing to go through all the security protocols to protect you from a coffee mug.
Yeah, it's almost a joke.
Yeah, but then like if the short film like continued on, it's like then like they show you like all the documentation or something like that, or like if just the documentation of this entry just like starts scrolling up on the screen, then you're reading through it's like oh god, okay, that's why it's there. But yeah, I just love that like that initial like starting of the story of this entry. You're like reading all this like high end like security for it, and then it's just coffee cup, and then oh god, it's a coffee cup.
Yeah, it feels like every word you read through the story, it's like it makes the coffee cup seem more and more threatening.
Yeah. And it is like it is.
Yes.
It is not just like it's the emphasis. It's like there are no wolves in the Stillwood. It's coffee cup. Oh god, it's a coffee cup. But I digress. I'll move on to the next thing I have. We're going to start with the description. SCP-198 has taken numerous forms since coming into Foundation possession in 19 Redacted. Since acquisition, SCP-198 has been observed to have had dozens of different forms, including a styrofoam cup, Redacted brand glass beer bottle, Redacted and Redacted/Redacted brand aluminum soda cans, an oversized shot glass that read 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, a plastic water bottle with a redacted label partially peeled off, and data expunged. And then later, we get this. Approximately 2 to 5 seconds after the SCP is held, it will instantly bond itself through unknown, albeit painful means to the handler's hand or hands. Test subjects have reported the pain of bonding with SCP-198 as a searing or fiery sensation, though no heat can be detected by outside observers or instruments. Guys, it's a mimic, like from D&D.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like as description in the original, like for like as the original description for a mimic in D&D is like Dungeons and Dragons. Mimics will assume the form of usually like a treasure chest or something like that. But as soon as the adventurer goes to like open it up, they are stuck to it because the outer layer has a nigh invisible layer of like sticky adhesive film.
Oh, I didn't know they actually did that.
It's something.
It's just I'm a treasure chest. Rawr, I'm gonna bite you.
Yeah, no, they actually like in the original text. It was like basically you try to open up the chest and you could open it, and then there's a bunch of teeth, and then oh god, you're stuck to it. So then that like allows for even further like easier access for it to eat you.
Oh damn.
Yeah. And jumping on this connective tissues time. I have recently been tinkering with unique mimics in some of our games over at One Less Die. And have even been considering mimics for a modern setting that we're currently running. So
Should
forgive
I
my
not be listening?
no,
to
no, you're
this?
fine. I'm not going to go into detail exactly what I'm going to do with it, but
I won't metagame
Um,
anyways.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Also, it's not like you can roll to deal with it. Anyway. No, kidding. I'm sorry, man. That was mean.
Will me leaving the recording fuck up the recording?
Yes. No, I'm sorry. Just do the Macarena next time when you're rolling.
Yeah, I'll totally do that.
So yeah, don't worry about it, gamer. Like this will, like who knows, like when I'll get around to implementing this. So you may have forgotten by then. But also forgive me, but the following quotes and comments, as they will almost certainly all have some relation to game fodder with mimic ideas. As I continued reading this entry, I was like just getting more and more ideas or about mimics. But yeah, I'll move on to the next thing here. To date, no means have been found to break the bond, including cutting or severing the fingers or hand of the holder, as any wound below the wrist of the test subject heal instantaneously. Further proposed testing of the range of healing up to the handler's arm is pending approval. So that is a tad fucked up, but also not out of the scope of what we've seen the Foundation do to poor D-Class.
What I don't get is why are they pending approval? Like, why do they need to ask approval to cut higher?
Because it's sort of an inhumane thing, like because what if like the healing doesn't?
The whole D-Class thing is an inhumane.
Yeah, that's
thing.
fair. Yeah, I mean they are like death row criminals usually, like in D-Class.
They
but
were
it's still
already
like
willing to
yeah
cut fingers and the entire hand off
to get rid of the thing.
Yeah, at the point of them being like, okay, I can't cut through the wrist. You figure the scientist or the D-Class would be like, it's okay, go higher. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, and that's it actually kind of dumps into my next quote. Is like my next comment. I just kind of imagine like when they do get approval for this, that they're just trying to cut off like the fingers and then the hand, and then eventually working their way up the arm, and it, like to try and see what the limit of the healing factor is, like inch by inch. Like, it's like they try sawing, no cut. It's like, all right, try the next one, next inch, just gradually they just trying to saw the arm and having it heal.
Because like it has to stop somewhere, because it says that they've terminated. The victims either self-terminate, die from just the effects, or they are terminated by Foundation personnel, like just shot him in the head. So there is a point where it stops.
Yeah, there's a point. Yeah, like the body either dies, or the body dies after a certain amount of time because of the effects it causes the body, or like by gunshot to the head.
Yeah. So between the head and the wrist, there is a spot where it stops healing.
Yeah, that's true. But they have.
Maybe
but again,
it's at the fucking shoulder, but that's something that they should already know.
Well, the pending approval thing I think is also just like it's a jab at like the bureaucracy. It's like they're still pending approval to actually like perform these tests to see what the limit of the healing is.
I guess, but like because they've done at least 4 or 5 tests, considering how many times it's changed forms.
Like half a dozen, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've learned what? It's hot, 1 hand or 2, and no gloves. Those are the 3 tests I can think of. Like gloves don't help.
Yeah. So and robotic arms are fine because it's not flesh.
Yeah, so 3 D-Class have died, and that's all they've learned so far. Yeah. They haven't tried cutting up.
You know what they need to do? They need to test this on one of the boneheads from Vulture Gulch.
Yeah,
because it works. Because currently, SCP-198 doesn't work on or like doesn't or it attaches itself to living tissue. Well, we know that the boneheads of Vulture Gulch are zombies. Yes. So what happens when necrotized flesh? And we know that it flops out when the body dies. Like it flops off its bondings when the body dies. So it's like, yeah, they just need Joey Fucknuts to show up, or one of his buddies to come over and like pick it up.
What was that unkillable like skeletal lizard thing?
Oh, it was in our SCP-999 episode.
Yeah, because they were quote unquote friends.
Yeah,
or 99 wanted to be friends with him.
Yeah, no, it was that it's that meme from like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like, I've just met this yellow blue glob, but I will kill everyone in this room and myself if anything bad happens to it.
Yes.
Just kidding, I won't die.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it is though. Like, shoot,
There's so many numbers. I don't blame you.
It was
999's
also
the
like
one
last
I
year.
remember, and that's the only one
Yeah,
I need to remember. But
yeah, it was also like last year too. So like, yeah,
yeah.
it's the one. It's the unkillable like reptilian beast. Yeah.
Yes, I'm wondering if you curl his claws around this mug, if that'll kill him or not.
Or better yet, eat this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know
Just-
if eating it would do anything. They haven't
Well,
tested
then
that.
he eats it, so or he puts it in his mouth and clamps down. Suddenly, he can't open his mouth
Yeah.
because it adheses. Yeah. Yeah. So like I would actually love to see like a story where like SCP-99 or SCP-198 is being like they're using other SCPs to interact with it to see if like, well, it's like, well, we know living tissue is affected. Let's see if necrotized tissue works.
Yeah, specifically SCPs that's like, this thing's dangerous. If it dies to this, sorry, if it dies, it dies. You know?
If it dies, it dies. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. Once bonded, any liquid inside SCP-198 will disappear, and the container will inexplicably begin to fill from the bottom up with a fluid or a semi-solid material, stopping only once it reaches the top of the container. The liquid or semi-solid material is different for each holder, but it has to date been a bodily fluid or human excretion in each test instance. Such instances have included human saliva, sweat, blood, bile, mucus, urine, feces, and data expunged, as well as a combination of two or more of these. Ew. that again, just continuing as I read on, is like, this is really fucked up, even for a mimic. And actually, like, it kind of gave me some ideas, some fodder ideas. It's like, yeah, this would be a really fucked up like mimic trap created by some mad scientist or wizard or some eldritch entity from the madness dimension or something that creates like that flesh crafts monsters together like mimics and other aberrations.
Mhm.
Specifically, I'm referring to like in I think it's in the Eberron setting of Dungeons and Dragons. Mimics and other like creatures like it come from the madness dimension, are created by like a god of flesh crafting. So yeah, it's definitely some definitely some horrid experiment conducted on either a regular mimic, or like they took the idea of a mimic and decided like, wait, we can make it worse.
Yeah.
Like it definitely feels like this would be a bioweapon used in a D&D game. I'm sorry, gamer. It definitely does fit something I would throw into our Eberron campaign down the road. But I'll continue on.
And also, that data expunged one, we all know what that is, right?
Yeah. It's yeah. Also,
yeah.
I'm kind of this sort of like didn't bug me, but it was like everything else is redacted except for like the two instances of data expunged. It's like, do we really need like two types of redactions, like two separate?
I have a
types of
note on
redactions?
that.
Okay, sorry.
So, where's that note on that?
Yeah. Would you like to talk about that now?
That note on that I'll totally find.
I suppose this could have even been a grammar inquisition because it's like kind of part of the format. No,
This is the one though. It's like it was going to be a grammar. Then I'm like, you know what? No, it's not. So yes.
Okay.
Two things about all this.
Mhm.
This is in regards to it saying that. My note on this is in regards to it saying it turns into a styrofoam cup, a redacted brand beer model, redacted this, redacted that brand aluminum cans, blah blah blah, and data expunged. So
Yeah.
Two things about that. Out of all the things to be redacted here, brand labels, could they not get past copyright laws in the Foundation?
I actually do like that. That is something that I think does happen in government documents. They will redact those just for legal reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
This seems strange, but if that's
they don't want to slander the brand.
Yeah, basically,
and have a legal case.
Yeah, that's basically it.
I guess. Okay, that's fine. But either
Corpo's
way,
gonna corpo.
previously on SCPs, I have said that I prefer when stories have a uniform system of redacting, all blacked out or all expunged or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do recall you guys bringing up good points about this before, though, in regards to multiple people from the Foundation editing and updating these documents.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Also, the reason I'm talking about brought this all up in the first place is I decided to look up data expunged, and through definitions and through a form on the SCP Wiki, it's basically like redactions are hidden from people without enough clearance, so the data is still in the file there if needed. While
Okay,
data
yeah.
expunged means like it's completely removed through unrecoverable means. So like if there is data there, it might only be in the hands of the top brass, like if you really need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lore reason for the different types of redactions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I learned a thing.
But in this case, you're removing a type of container that this entity can become.
Yes.
So if people don't know what it looks like or can look like, isn't that sort of not helpful?
It's probably something that you would not normally see in your normal life anyways. It's something fucked up, I would think.
Yeah.
So
Like
you
maybe
would immediately recognize it anyways.
it turned into its true form at one point, and so like it's just too horrible to be described, so they just data expunged it.
But
Like how a
long
mimic
story
is-
short, it's like the two different redaction types I like because it's like this stuff's redacted and this is super redacted here.
Yeah,
you know?
it's so redacted you don't even have the clearance if you think you have the clearance for it. You don't.
This
have
is a
the clearance
redacted redaction.
for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, just because like you brought up the description thing again, and like I'm like looking at it now again, like the especially with the redacted and redacted / redacted or redacted - redacted brand aluminum soda can. That redacted - redacted is a Coca-Cola right? Like Coca-Cola brand because of the Coca dash cola.
The dash. Yeah.
Shouldn't the dash be gone then and just have it a big blank?
You would think it should be,
Yeah.
but like I think it's definitely one of those things like yeah, somebody got fired for that or somebody got declassed for that.
Probably. But they also didn't change it.
Yeah, they also didn't fix that. Yeah, so it's just like yeah. But it's like it's fine. Like it just it helped in game or in lore. It's probably something that would have been fixed. Out of lore, it gives us the reader like just a little inkling of what brand it was because like we all know what that brand like only one brand of soda has a dash in the middle, at least for us Americans or North Americans.
And most dashes don't get redacted. Like if you look at site dash redacted, if you don't have the dash, then it makes it confusing. So it's probably the algorithm leaves the dash there when you redact things.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah,
so there may be a reason for like why that's there, but yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because like you touched on the descriptions again, and I forgot to bring that up in my notes.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna touch on that when you were talking about it, but you were dead
Zooming
set, ready to go, jump in feet first, talking about mimics. I'm like, I am not interrupting this man.
Yeah, I'm the aliens guy from this. I'm the aliens guy from the History Channel. It's like mimics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the thing. I wonder if the data expunged, like when it's going through the descriptions, and like we get the very end, and data expunged. Yeah, it's its true form, kind of like how mimics like do actually have a grotesque, normal form. Like there's some kind of like in some of the original lore of D&D, they're like there's subterranean like cave dwelling like creature that has learned the extraordinary ability to mimic an object, like simple objects and such. So,
which sounds ridiculous, but that being said, normal people can learn to be druids and shapeshift, so it's really not ridiculous in that.
Yeah, exactly.
In that context.
So, yeah, I'll move on to the next thing here. All right, yeah, here we go. In approximately 75% of test instances, SCP-198 will disappear once the bond is broken and reappear almost instantly on a nearby flat surface, seemingly with a preference for tables or shelves within the same room, and take on a new form. Okay, so it disengages and either crawls really fast away, or this mimic also has the blink ability, like a short distance teleportation ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they crossbred a mimic with a blink dog.
That was smart.
Yeah,
Not.
Also, blink dogs are also really kind of interesting because, like, depending on the edition of D&D that you play, or even Pathfinder, blink dogs. Everyone, when you think of blink dog, you usually think that it's like it teleports, and that's one version of the blink dog. The other version of a blink dog is that it actually just goes invisible and has an illusion that it has teleported somewhere because it's really just turned invisible and moved somewhere else for it was invisible for a short time. But yeah, going on like the teleportation ability of the blink dog, like, yeah, it basically just has a blinking ability. But I'll move on to the next thing I have here. And this is from experiment 198-A-2. D-class personnel is seen to cautiously sniff the contents of SCP-198. Test subject. Is that redacted? Oh God, that's disgusting, man. Test subject stumbles slightly and falls to one knee at this point. Doc, I don't feel very good. Sorry. I don't feel so good, man. And then in another transcript report, subsequent autopsy determines the contents of the subject's stomach to be mostly human urine. And so this is after like this D-class test subject had to start drinking for hours the redacted that he saw in the cup.
Yes.
And it's revealed to be urine. What was the point of redacting what the test subject said? Like, if you were gonna say what it was unredacted in like a little bit later?
That is
like,
weird.
I think I know why. Is because my kind of counter to my initial thought on this was, well, maybe it's because he said something like, he said a vulgarity like is that piss? But like, is piss really a vulgar word?
Also,
like,
why does it matter? Like,
yeah, like, because it's gonna reveal it. Like, it reveals it anyway. Like, that it was human urine. It's like, did he say like? Yeah, it even has like the 4 characters, so it's probably he said, "Is that piss?" So, but like, why did they redact that? Like, if they were gonna
does seem really dumb.
Yeah, but at the same time, because of like how SCP is and like the bureaucratic nonsense and like silly / like horrific bullshit they do, I could see them like redacting a vulgarity as light or as like minimal as piss.
Just in case kids read this document.
Yeah, in case oh God, in case SCP Foundation has a take your kid to work day. God, it's Portal and Portal 2 all over again. Because that's why Chell was a test subject. She was actually she was from she was at the lab as a part of like a take your kid to work day.
Dude, I'm the gamer in yellow.
Yeah, so you should know
that,
right?
These things. I've totally played the Portal games.
Well, good. Then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's for those at home, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, yes. Yeah. Also, I guess spoilers for some of the lore in Portal.
Oh, it's fine. I'm never going to play it. I mean, I've already played it. What are you talking
about? But yeah, that's the end of my actual thoughts for SCP-198. So, Mikey, the E stands for evil.
All right. Well, my actual thought is that they've actually already created a bottomless coffee mug. But this is the version 2.0 because it has different liquids.
We're still working out the kinks, apparently. It's just like...
So, and my thought process is that the idea is that this prototype would create any drink that the user wanted. And unfortunately, it grabs the first liquid that comes to mind when it bonds with the user.
Interesting.
So, because there's pain involved with the bonding process, most of the first thoughts are bloody hell, oh shit, oh fuck, piss and vinegar, sweet Jesus.
Wow.
You know what? You even like because like one of the test subjects, she was like, can you describe what's in there? Shit. Like it's redacted. But come on, we all knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like I could imagine that it was just she was just like saying like shit. So yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I also kind of had the idea that like maybe the cup was like manifesting the excrement or the fluid from the person's body, and that's why they were dehydrating and emaciating, and that's why it was stopping that process when you consumed what was in the cup, was because it was basically giving it back to you.
That's what I initially thought. However,
yeah,
it says that it's unidentifiable, so it's not theirs.
Yeah. So it's unidentifiable DNA, which you can even tell from excrement and stuff like that. You can tell like what the DNA is, unless the SCP Foundation is being really sloppy and not actually getting proper DNA like archiving from their D class.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that.
I'm willing to give them that much of like that they're not that incompetent. I mean, they're incompetent in other ways, but not that incompetent.
So the way I saw that is either the bodily fluids are from some other dimensional entity that this is linked to, or it's literally the mimic. It's secreting its own bodily fluids into itself. Yeah. Because like basically as soon as it binds, it starts like siphoning energy out of them, and the byproduct of that is excrement or what have you.
Yeah, or it's like extra material that like it can't use, so it's just kind of filling up the cup with that.
No, it's not the human's material though.
No, I know, but like I mean extra material from itself, not from the human body. That's what I meant. Like,
well, I'm just saying, I eat a burger, that turns into stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like,
it starts eating a guy, that turns into stuff.
Yeah. And I do like the idea that it's just like it's psychically manifests whatever you want, but unfortunately, it's got a couple of like. It needs to do some tweaking, because right now it manifests whatever the person first brings up, which is usually something vulgar.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting idea for like why it's doing or how it's creating this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other thought is that this is just a buddy horror, because it just wants to be used and was designed to show up beside you when you're thirsty.
Yeah, it bonds with the handler on a molecular level. How close could you be with somebody? But on a molecular level.
But when it comes to the agent, that the thermos showed up beside him, he was obviously thirsty.
Yeah.
And the cup was just doing its job.
Man,
like it wanted to help.
I'm helping.
I know exactly how I'm going to use this for. I'm sorry, gamer. I know exactly how I'm going to use this in our current modern setting game. Mm-hmm. But like this is a very like lethal. This is potentially a very lethal trap. Like,
of course it is.
Basically it's a minefield. Like you walk into somewhere and it's basically a minefield, because it could be anywhere, and it could be any object that you would any object of like of a bet for a beverage that you would pick up.
Your next mission, you are going to a bar to meet up with contacts.
Honestly, that's what I was thinking. So my idea, I don't want to spoil it, but my one of the ideas is that you walk into a diner that like from like where an incident happened, and like there's just coffee cups all rolled up or like on tables and everywhere and stuff like that, and like you like I'll describe that, and like the other two players are going to be like, oh, okay, so let's investigate
I'll take
the scene.
A coffee, yeah.
Or let's investigate the scene and some of that. And then I just imagine like gamer is just going to be like, no one move a fucking muscle.
No, I'll be just shaking a little bit and sweating and being like, "Yes, let's get a
guys,
coffee.
I'm gonna
I
go
have
outside.
to not metagame."
You'll be like, you know what? You guys investigate inside. I'll walk outside and keep an eye out. It's like, oh, do you want a coffee? It's like, no,
No,
I'm
I'm good. No.
good. Yeah. So really, what I need is like, I need you in on this, gamer. Like, you're my inside man for this scenario.
What, to like make the others feel like there's something fishy going on here?
Yeah, and then and the scenario is actually there's nothing wrong, but like you're acting like there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That's So like, yeah, you'll never know if it's actually there, or if like you guys ever are going to come in contact with the original vector of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like
yeah, it's
5 or 6 episodes, my character's just paranoid about any sort of container that holds fluid
yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah, you won't even touch bowls or like deep plates,
Yeah.
saucers with like liquid inside, like soup or like chowder.
Yep.
It's like no, nothing. Won't even hold a spoon.
Which means I will die very quickly from not being able to drink anything.
No, you'll only do takeout, like because it has there's wrappers around the burgers and stuff. And then I grab you, I get you there. It's like, ha ha ha! It was the wrapper all along. Booga booga booga. Yeah, you're just gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man. It's definitely a horror, like a body, like a creepy body horror to throw into a fantasy game as this is like a mimic trap.
Yep.
Especially given like how bad it ends up for the person who's stuck, because like, yeah, like I don't even know how how would they get out of it. It's like, I guess like miracle spell or like miracle spell basically, or like
Start chopping up the arm.
Yeah, or start chopping off the arm basically. Yeah, like it's like and find out where the heal factor ends.
Yep.
And then I'll just be really twisted. It's like it doesn't end until you get to like the shoulder blade.
Until you get to the neck.
Yeah, you just have to lop their head off.
Yep.
And then the fucked up thing is that like the person's head flops off, they die for a moment, and then the neck starts growing back a new body. Like, and it starts off as a baby and then grows like over the next couple of hours into a full grown human or person. I kind of fucking love that, because then like
so it's kind of like Deadpool where he's got the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. And at the same time, the other players are like, is that still our buddy, or is that the thing?
Yeah.
Like, was this actually was this mimicked actually the Thing from like John Carpenter's The Thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not
Like, I
growing
keep
any.
walking off screen to do something and then coming back, and then another me comes back somewhere else a few minutes later after the other one left, but came back from a different direction.
Oh God. Yeah, and it's really you just moving around off like where no one sees you, like, so you're just going, but they think that it's somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sus all the time.
Yeah, you're just it's basically Among Us.
Yeah.
And my thoughts on reversing the bonding is: did anyone think to thank the mug for dispensing the liquid? I mean,
That's true.
that could be all it needs, is to be like, thank you for dispensing this liquid, and then it releases you.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't do enough science, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of the science is oh god, gun down or kill the person, or the person kills themselves, like kind of thing. It's like they're not doing enough. You can kind of understand because of like how panicked the test subject is and stuff. But yeah, they really aren't doing enough. Like,
we've read SCPs where they kill dozens of D-class.
Yeah.
To figure shit out, and this one they kill 3 or 4, and it's like, all right, we're pending approval. No
it's
more.
like D-class, blah, blah, blah. Can you stop screaming and just say thank you to the cup? Or can you say that's a good cup of Joe?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Watch that. That's actually the phrase word is just that's a good cup of Joe. Like, hence why it's called a cup of Joe on the SCP name. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as that.
or just like, or it's literally just a refreshing. Like it's
Yeah,
just like
show
it's just
any sort of
escalation.
like
Or
refreshment from it.
like any sign of exhalation of like of being refreshed or being like content with what you just drank. Like
Yep.
that's why it does
Mhm.
it does the gross stuff. It's a test. It's some kind of like fucked up like test for the person. It's kind of like a saw punishment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. God. Yeah, the if I throw this into Eberron, this would definitely be like some kind of like really fucked up um like torture device or like plaything of the flesh god from the madness dimension.
You do also have a guy that's a priest of the Mimic Moon.
That's true. Also, yeah, this could yeah. Honestly, this doesn't even need to be like a flesh god from the madness dimension. This will just be the one player character who's now a high priest of the mimic moon that's in orbit around our Eberron campaign.
Yep.
Check out One Less Die in 2024, where we'll actually be starting to release our Eberron campaign on a regular basis. Plug.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Sorry, Mikey. I think we took your we jumped back on the stage with you there.
Well, that's into my actual thoughts.
Okay.
So.
All right, gamer.
It is indeed my turn. So right up front, I like how the containment procedures for this one are set up. It lets us know very specific things, that it's dangerous enough to warrant all these precautions before we even know what it is.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, in world, anyone reading this document needs to know what it is, needs to know what is right and what is not right to do first when handling this thing before explaining what it is, because it could be a situation that, like, in case someone's reading it, it's like, oh, too long, didn't read. You know, you have to get the important information out first.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be like a there's a Goofus and Gallant style like video that SCP has, like, don't do what Goofus does. He's like reading, it's like, oh, these security protocols are so boring. Oh, I'm just gonna take a cup of take a drink from this coffee cup. Oh God! And then Gallant's like, I'm going to read this and follow these instructions to the letter.
Yes.
And meanwhile, in the background, like you just see like Goofus is just like rolling around, like screaming and stuff of that, like, but it's like muted as Gallant is actually reading the instructions on what to do with the thing, and then he pulls out a gun and like just shoots Goofus as he gives a thumbs up. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So it did that good for sure.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that this was the cup, so I just started reading this, and I'm like, okay, this could be anything. Okay, it's the cup one. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And it goes in saying SCP-198 has taken numerous forms since coming into Foundation possession in 19 redacted. What do you think the odds are that SCP-198 was captured in 98? I mean, 198 probably. That's how that works, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I was actually thinking that myself. Like, I was like, was it caught in 1980, or like basically like 198? Yeah, like. Yeah, I understand.
Put a 0 on the end. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, put a 0. Yeah, like just like it was found in the 80s at some point. Also, doesn't it say like they also found it in a German bunker somewhere in redacted? Like, I thought I vaguely remember it being in a bunker, or they found it like in the description or in the entry.
Underground bunker in redacted Germany.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is clearly a Nazi experimenting on mimics. This is actually in Shadowrun. Sorry, Mikey. This is like one of the first magical creatures discovered by in the Fifth World. Before the actual awakening happened, and it was during World War One or no, sorry, World War II, and the Nazis had discovered a mimic. And of course, they were trying to turn it into a bioweapon.
Yep. I mean, speaking of,
is this the enemy's bioweapon? Sorry.
Speaking of making this into a bioweapon, it could literally be a temporary super soldier serum. Because, like, you hand someone the mug, and then they haven't tested how invincible you are. If it's literally just headshots, then you can pick up the mug, have a handgun in the other hand, I guess, and then just run into battle as a suicide sort of soldier. You just go in, guns blazing, killing everyone. Unless you get clipped in the head, you just keep going.
Maybe so. Here's a little bit of an idea for game fodder or something like that, or for this little headcanon. Maybe the Germans were tinkering with a mimic-like organism, not to create like a beverage container, but to make it so that it would turn into the perfect gun as a bullet container. So it's a gun that is instantly grafted to the person, and the person only has a certain amount of life, because basically the endless bullets are actually being created by like the energy it's draining into the weapon from the person. So it's like basically like it's a couple of hours they have
your own life force,
but it's like a really powerful weapon that they were hoping to create, and then they just never got around to that stage in like the prototypes, and they only got to like the creepy beverage container mimic.
Yeah, that killed all the scientists.
Yeah. I really like that idea. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to throw that into like a Call of Cthulhu game, or even like a proto Shadowrun. Sorry, Mikey, like Fifth World game. Maybe even maybe even have that as a Shadowrun game where you guys break into like Ares macro tech and find like in like one of their vaults this like artifact they have in storage that was recovered during the Fifth World, and it turns out it's actually this like magical organism that shapeshifts into different objects. And then it just becomes the most lethal game of prop hunter.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like how I'm the one referencing all the video games this week, and not the gamer in yellow.
Yeah, we'll just switch names now.
Yeah. Well, you're not the gamer in yellow. To be fair, you're not the gamer in yellow this month. You're the Grinch in yellow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's exactly what.
And I'm Review Claus, so Santa Claus usually gives games and as presents. So yeah, it works out.
This was planned, everybody.
Yeah, this is totally planned. Just like this has all been planned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Layers upon layers.
But yeah, moving on.
Okay.
So the quote, when it starts talking about how it's filled up and how it kills people, once SCP is filled, the holder will undergo rapid dehydration and or emaciation, becoming increasingly malnourished to the point of death, which usually occurs within 24 hours if nothing is done to prevent it. So when I was first reading that the start of that sentence, I was assuming rapid dehydration and emaciation was way quicker than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna die within like 10 minutes, or
like it's just
5.
like you just like we're actually gonna watch them visibly like mummify effectively.
Yeah, the first visual I had was the bad guy from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Drinking the cup, drinking from the wrong grail.
Yeah, just immediately just shrivel up and die. But no, that's like over the span of 24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which again also lends credence to our whole like it was supposed to be like a Nazi experiment, because like it's a gun that will kill the soldier in 24 hours, but is really powerful.
Yeah.
Has unlimited gun. It creates unlimited bullets.
It's a gun that has unlimited gun? Is that what you're going to say?
Yes. No, it creates unlimited bullets for 24 hours.
Yep, no reload.
No reload. Yeah.
And
my God.
You're invincible for that 24 hours.
Oh God,
shots.
It's the Doomslayer mug. Do.
Yep, pretty much.
No reloads, and you're practically invincible, except for like really, really trick shots.
Yep, pretty much.
So just give the soldier like a really like heavy like helmet, like Carmine's helmet. Sorry, I couldn't finish that sentence. Poor Carmine.
Yeah.
Again, I'm doing all the gaming references today.
It's almost like you do all the fucking talking.
I'm sorry. I do talk a lot.
It's fine. So next, let's see. Oh yeah, testing has revealed that the only means of which the subject can gain nourishment is by consuming the contents of SCP-198. So to that, I'm like, wow, so this SCP is literally the eat shit or die SCP. Like, quite literally.
Wow, yeah.
I'm surprised it doesn't say that outright on the mug.
Oh man, yeah. The next one it transforms into is just like a Duke Nukem branded
thermos or
thermos
something.
or something. Yeah, like thermos
Yeah.
or coffee cup or something. It's just like
Mhm.
eat shit and die,
Or
eat
die.
shit or die. Yeah.
It's actually a quote of his.
I think it's no, I don't know
He has
what
many
what is that?
quotes.
What is that from? Like I remember
It's
it's like eat shit and die. Like that's what is that? What is that from? Do we
I
need
think
to
it's
look
just
this
an
up?
old statement. Urban Dictionary says it means you must masticate on some fecal matter and then cause your heart to stop fibrillating. God, Urban Dictionary uses way too big words for me. Oh, it's eat shit and die.
Yeah, eat shit. Yeah, I thought I thought it was
shit
eat
or
shit and
die.
die. Yeah. Oh, it's from Eat Shit and Die, Ricky. Eat Shit and Live. From Sleepaway Camp, the 1983 slasher flick.
Oh wow.
It's like one of the characters like tells the one character like eat shit and die, Ricky, and then Ricky just responds back with like eat shit and live, Bill. I remember that's where, but like I remember it like being like a Duke Nukem character or something doing like a grungy voice is like eat shit and die.
I mean, again, he says so many quotes.
Yeah, so it could be a Duke Nukem or like some other like gruff video game character saying it.
As far as I'm seeing
yeah.
Duke Nukem 3D, there is a quote of him saying, "Eat shit and die."
Okay, that's what it was then.
You're fine.
Cool.
And then my last one, I like that the initial 2 experiments are shown here because a lot of SCPs just kind of do random incident reports, not necessarily the first ones they do when they get the SCP.
Yeah.
I do wish they did way more though, because it's like I said before, they found out a couple of things and then they just stopped dealing with it. Like maybe they're scared of messing with it more because the most recent thing, it just broke containment whenever it wanted to find a random mug. So like if they keep fucking with it, it might get worse.
That's fair, yeah.
But still, not enough science in this science.
Oh god, it turns into it vanishes and then suddenly like miles away from the SCP site in a random town, a new pool center opens up.
Oh no.
And so somebody goes into it. They just like grab onto like the railings for like to get out of the pool, and suddenly the water just immediately changes into like something horrible.
Yeah.
Oh god, that'd be silly because it's like it changes into beverage or into beverage containers. Like, well, a pool is just a really big beverage container.
Yep. Yeah, someone goes to jump in. I hope there's no pee in here.
It's all pee all the time.
Yeah. Welcome to PP's water park.
Or it's like not even like it doesn't even turn into like a big like pool center. It just becomes one of those like backyard pools. Like, honey, did you get a pool installed? No. It's like, hey kids, look what Dad got you. Yeah. Hours later, no.
I hate you, Dad.
It burns.
Yeah.
And the kids just are like desiccating as they're like hold it like can't like get out of the pool from the ladder. Oh god, so gross.
Very bad time.
Yeah, it'd be a very bad time. Yeah, there'd definitely be some amnesticizing of an entire neighborhood.
Yeah, that's about all I got for notes on that.
Okay. Suppose we'll move on to final thoughts then. Yeah, gonna still recommend this one, especially if you want a really fucked up mimic trap for a horror fantasy game that you're running. Like it's so innocuous and odd at the start, but as soon as you read further along, or as you read further along, it's just not only horrific, it's just downright insidious. And I admire it for that. Like it's very like it's like this is a really fucked up SCP for being something that's so innocuous and simple, but it's so cool and effective.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's perfect in its simplicity. But yeah, so I'll recommend this one. Mikey, these stands for evil.
Well, I like that it's a basically a cursed object, which could be a prototype that the company made, but then it somehow left the confines of the company
Yeah.
because it can teleport, right? So uh,
God.
it blinked away.
It teleported, sir. Mother of God.
But yeah, so this is one that makes you think, like, what makes it tick, and unfortunately, as the Grinch in Yellow pointed out, there's not enough science in my science.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
So like there's so much more that this could be, and for this I'm turning into the cultist, where I must have more.
So Ebenezer turned into a princess. Okay.
That's kind of what happens at the end of the movies and stuff. He starts singing.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
From my vast knowledge of that story, from
Of a
Muppet
Christmas Carol.
yeah,
Yeah. From a Muppet Christmas Carol, no less.
the most accurate one, the only
Yes.
one I need.
I mean, to be fair, that's fine. It is actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm still gonna recommend this.
All right. And Grinch in Yellow.
That's me. I'm the Grinch. Bah humbug.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch in Yellow.
Yeah. For me, again, I like the story. It for the same reason you guys like it, but the more I'm thinking about it, and the more we're talking
Why
about
don't
it,
you
it's like, I want more science in science for realties. It kind of bugs me that they just stopped doing science on it, because the whole reason that you're reading SCPs is these humans are trying to figure out what makes these SCPs tick or how to control them so then they don't hurt people. In this one, they're just like, no, we're done. Meanwhile, other ones they've done so many more experiments on and thrown so many more bodies at. And this one they just stop, even though it's like super interesting and could potentially lead to really good things. Like, for example, it gives like superhuman healing. If they figure out how that specifically works, there could be like a freaking cure-all situation in this, you know? If they can
Literally eat shit and live.
Yeah. Like, even if you have to do something horrible like that, but if they manage to make it so it heals you and you're not under the influence of it anymore, then you could save people's lives from dying from like diseases and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of good that can be done from doing science on this one, but they just stop for reasons. Also bumping my recommendation down because this can be turned into horrible things that will kill my characters in video games, in tabletop RPGs.
Wow.
Not
So
a
you're
fan
just
of
a
that.
little bit biased.
A little bit biased, but that's fine. But mainly it's I want more science in my science is the reason I'm bumping it down to a partial. I still like it. It's just it could be a lot better with more incident reports.
That's fair.
Or at least more explanation as to why, because I don't buy that they're just pending approval to continue with it. Like, I'm glad that's at least there, but they could have done more. And like 4 or 5 people have died, and like a couple of them were complete accidents, like with the workers just accidentally drinking something nearby, and then it turns them. But they don't go, okay, you're probably fucked. We might as well do the next set of experiments on this, just so your life isn't wasted here. Here, I'm gonna start chopping at your arm. Tell me when to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like, actually, I think it would have been really cool if like the Dr. Redacted, like that was like going through the D class. He then grabbed a cup that was in like one of the things and ended up becoming an experiment himself. Like, I think that would have been really cool. Like, in the narrative, like that would have been a really fun, like, karmic thing for him. Like,
Yeah, we can have actual characters here.
Yeah.
And it could
Even
be
if
like,
we don't know
it
their
could be said
names,
early
yeah.
on that, man, he really wanted to just chop up the arm and just see where the healing factor ended, but like he's waiting for approval and pissed him off. But then it happens to him. He's like, you know what? I still want to know. You keep chopping until you get
Keep
the damn
hacking
thing
and
off
hacking
me.
and
I don't care how high you go. Just do it.
I don't care if you have to cleave my own head off.
Yeah. Because I ain't drinking that shit.
Yeah. It's like we've got 24 hours, gentlemen. Let's science the shit out of this.
Out of me.
Yeah, let's science the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Man, like that would be like that is the most dedicated SCP scientist I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Your country, we not really. The Foundation salutes you.
Yes. The world.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're fucked, and you're going through immense pain for the entire 24 hours. So if you die early, it's kind of just a blessing at that point, because you're either going to be saved or you die early. So it's kind of a win-win.
It's still
To
going
a
to be really,
point.
it's still going to be really fucked up because, like,
Yes, it is, but it's better than the alternative.
that's true.
Yeah.
It would also be really, be really fucked up, and like this just kind of popped in my head as they're cutting before the wound heals. The fluid that leaks out is the fluid that should be in the container.
Oh, out of the cut?
just for like extra like fucked up weirdness.
You know what would also be fucked up? They start cutting into his wrist with a knife. It starts cutting, but immediately heals. The knife is healed inside of him. They can't get it out.
Oh
Hey,
no!
give me another knife. Go up an inch. So, like, all the way up his arm, he just has a whole bunch of knives stuck in his skin.
Oh god, that's horrible. I love it. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to change my recommendation. I still like the as is, but I definitely think like I also see this as like this was probably a fairly early SCP. I mean, it's like it's SCP-198. So,
Well, yeah, but they also grab random numbers whenever they want, right?
when did this one come out?
Because like I'm sure there's gaps early. Actually, the amount of SCPs, all the early gaps are probably filled for sure.
Yeah, let me just quickly, I can actually double check that. Hang on, history. This was 2010 was when this first arrived.
Mm-hmm.
So also
when did SCP start? I'm assuming before that.
Oh yeah, probably like 2000. I think SCP's been around. Rather. I think SCP's founded. I think the Foundation's been around like 2008. If I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually just gonna quickly double check that. No, you're meme. The Foundation started in 2007. Man, 2007 was a good year for creepypastas.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it was originally started as a forum and stuff like that, or like forum entries and stuff like that, in 2007. So, but yeah, or it started on X Paranormal board with the with our favorite SCP, the SCP-173, the defecating blink or the defecating statue that will kill you if you blink.
Oh, that was the first one?
I think that's the one. Yep. Yeah, that was the first SCP to pop up.
Nice.
And then from that X thread that X thread file or entry, people started making more SCP Foundation entries.
Man, imagine if this is completely off topic. I mean, it's still SCP, but imagine if the first one they did just was not good. Like SCP may have not taken off at all. Yeah, I imagine if it hadn't been good, we probably would have gotten something eventually. But like, yeah, I hear you. Like, it's really like one of those like right moment, right time, right place kind of thing. Like again, like 2007 was like the height of like creepy internet horror and fiction. Mm-hmm. Like I think SCP 2007. I think 2007. Like there's just like a bunch of different creepypastas. Like the iconic creepypastas I think came out around that time. Yeah. But yeah. So. Yeah. Just imagine. Yeah. That a world without SCP. If SCP-173 had not been good or not well received, or if the very idea of like a Men in Black-esque secret organization that contains and protects us from these creatures by securing them, like if that idea had not like captured the imagination of the hundreds of thousands of people online, we would not have hundreds of thousands of SCP entries today. Yeah, it's nuts how many there are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a tribute to like just the creative crowdsourcing effectively.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know where we're going with that now.
We were trying to
Mhm.
get to the outro is what we're doing.
We're trying, yes. Yeah, so a partial recommendation and 2 full recommendations. I do agree with you though, gamer, like, or Grinch in yellow. The some more testing would definitely, I think some more extra testing would help. That's where I was. Like I kind of give this a little bit of a pass of not having a lot, because like this hasn't really been updated since about 2010. Like there's been a couple of things over the years, but it's only got like 2 pages of history in the logs. So like somebody could go back in, I guess, and like add in some extra testing procedures and stuff like that, like update it and such.
I was going to say this is page revision 23, last edited 1st of October 2022.
Okay, so but that's only, but like I've seen like entries that are like 4 or 5 pages of history logs long.
Yeah.
So like there have been ones that have had a lot more attention to them.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame because this was really good.
Also, apparently this entry originally had a cup
image,
an image of a cup.
Okay,
but it was
isn't
removed.
really necessary, honestly.
No,
but
it really isn't, honestly. Like I honestly, I understand why somebody like removed it from the newest iteration of it. So,
especially since it's a shapeshifter, so like you would have to, if this was a document and they're trying to catalog all the forms it would be taking, then you'd be having to take multiple pictures of all the different things it's been.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was like one of the reasons why the image was removed, just because like it just adds to like the text itself adds to the more credence to it than an image.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 2 recommendations, full recommendations, and 1 partial recommendation. Could have more, would love to have more. But cool the way it is, just the same.
Yep, for sure.
And that has been this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. We're all on Twitter /X. Kinda.
I don't have anymore.
You always say that.
Yeah.
Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The gamer in yellow, when he occasionally checks his Twitter, is on the gamer in yellow, but without that W at the end because his name is very long.
It really is.
And I am at Review Cultist. I'm also on Blue Sky at Review Cultist, so you can check me out there and see what I'm linking and favoriting and such there. If you want to send us an email, it's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. We can also leave suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah! And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. Select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tiers with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these SCP entries, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your creations on the SCP Foundation or any of the various other SCP wikis and such that are out there, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. And I would have nothing to torment my players in our D&D games when I create a custom mimic to horrify
So damn
them.
you, actually.
Damn you straight to hell. But thank you at the same time.
Thanks. I hate it.
Until next time, I have been your host, Review Claus.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for Ebenezer.
And I'm the Grinch in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis for SCP-Cember. Sleep well.